Hello and welcome to Eliminating Medicine. Today we'll be talking about the brachial plexus, which is an intricate network of nerves that innervate muscles around the shoulder, arm, forearm, and hand. Whether you're a medical student tackling anatomy or just curious about how your body works, this is for this is for you. Stick with me as I simplify this topic as I simplify the brachial plexus into something you will easily understand and remember. Okay? So I've got an outline and how I'm going to approach this topic for you guys. Alright? So first of all, I will introduce the brachial plexus. I will draw the brachial plexus, let's say just within a minute. Then I will explain to you how to draw it. Then I will talk about um the branches and I help out with some mnemonics. All right? Okay. So, what is the brachial plexus? The brachial plexus is a network of nerves that originates from the roots of the neck, that between the anterior scalene muscle and medial scalene muscle. All right? They originate between the anterior scalene muscle and middle scalene muscle, or you can say they originate between the anterior scalene muscle and scalenus medius muscle. All right. So let me draw the brachial plexus for you. First of all, you must remember to drink cold beer. All right. Always remember to drink cold beer. Okay. So remember to drink cold beer. All right. This is just a mnemonic for you. This is the roots, trunks, divisions, cords, and branches. All right. So to draw it in a very quick fashion, you're supposed to draw a peak here, a mountain, you draw a straight line, a mountain. All right. So and draw a straight line up to here. This straight line continues up to here. Another straight line here. Then I draw here X and a slash. Okay. So from this point, I'm going to draw here like a curve, here like a curve. I'm going to draw like a curve here. All right. Then I'm now going to insert all the terminal branches from the root end to the branches end. So one, 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 one. Okay. So we have this here and we have this here. So this is just a rough schematic diagram of what the brachial plexus looks like, but I'm now going to explain to you how to draw it in a and quick and easy way that you always remember. All right. But before I proceed, I want to talk to you about what we call the. So at this point, I'm going to explain to you what the prefix brachial plexus is, the postfix brachial plexus is. All right. So the prefix brachial plexus, normally the root of the brachial plexus originates from C5 to T1 spinal nerves. Okay. Okay. So the roots of the brachial plexus originates from C5, anterior rami of C5 spinal nerve, and anterior rami of C6, C7, C8, and T1. All right. Okay. So the prefix brachial plexus, if there is a larger contributions from C4 instead of C5, this is a prefix brachial plexus. If there is a larger contribution from T2 instead of T1, it is a postfix brachial plexus. Okay, I just mentioned that the roots of the brachial plexus emanate from the anterior rami of the C5 to T1 brachial C5 to T1 spinal nerves. Okay, but what do I mean by the anterior line of C5 to T1 spinal nerve? Okay, so in understanding does the what do I mean by the anterior line of C5 to T1 spinal nerve, you must understand the cross section of the spinal cord, how the nerve root emanates. Okay, so I'm going to explain this for you to understand. Okay, so the cross section of the spinal cord is like this. Okay, all right. So this is how the spinal cord look like, and in the spinal cord, just the cross section, and in the spinal cord we have gray matter that is made up of horns. All right, gray matter that is made up of three horns: the anterior horn, um, the lateral horn, and the posterior horn. Okay, and it's made up of the white columns, the anterior column and the posterior column. Okay, so in here you will see within this region here are the gray matter that are made up of three horns: anterior horn, posterior horn, and lateral horn. All right. So here is the gray matter, and around here are the white matter. But I'm going to separate it for you. I'm going to do an imaginary line for you to understand something. So after I've done this imaginary line, everything here are anterior, and everything here are posterior. So any nerve roots originating from the anterior region of this are going to give motor innervation, are going to carry motor sensation. Any nerve roots originating here are going to, for the posterior region, are going to give sensory sensation. All right. So from the anterior on of the gray matter of the spinal cord are going to give motor sensation. From the lateral on here are going to give autonomic sensation. I will also create a video for you. I'm going to talk about the autonomic nervous system. From the posterior on, it's going to give sensory sensation. So now let's see. So from the anterior on, it's going to give rise to the um, ventral nerve roots. Okay, the ventral nerve roots. Okay, then from these ventral nerve roots, like I said, are going to be carrying motor sensation. All right, so say ventral nerve roots, and from the posterior on the posterior from the posterior on, you're going to give rise to dorsal nerve roots. Okay, so from the dorsal nerve roots, we are going to form here what we call a dorsal root ganglion. When talking about the autonomic nervous system, in my video on the autonomic nervous system, I will define what a ganglion is, what a nucleus is. What at this point, let's just know that the dorsal nerve root is going to give rise to the dorsal root ganglion, DRG for short, and they are going to come together with the ventral nerve root to form what we call the mixed spinal nerves. Okay, why is it called the mixed spinal nerve? It is because it carry sensation from the dorsal nerve root, which give rise to sensory sensation, and from the ventral nerve root, which give rise to motor sensation. So this mixed spinal nerve carry both sensory and motor sensation. Now the mixed spinal nerve is going to um divide into dorsal spinal nerve, dorsal rami, okay, This is the dorsal rami and the anterior rami. The anterior rami of spinal nerves. Okay, so this is what how the brachial plexus comes about. All the anterior rami of spinal nerve from C5 to T1 are going to form the brachial plexus. All right, so this is just a cross sections of how we get the anterior rami. These dorsal rami are going to give rise to just motor sensation. Dorsal rami. Okay, this is just to whetting your appetite, but you do more of this in my neurology videos. All right. Okay. Now I will be teaching you how to do the brachial plexus in a quick and easy way. All right. So earlier I do the brachial plexus in a rough schematic way, but now I'm going to be talking about the branches of the brachial plexus, where each part of the brachial plexus is located, the roots, where it is located, the trunk, the divisions, the cords, and the branches. All right. So earlier I told you to always remember to drink cold beer. Okay. Remember to drink cold beer. Always remember to drink cold beer. But this is just a mnemonic for you to understand. All right. So the remember stands for the roots of the brachial plexus. The roots of the brachial plexus. Where is the root located? The roots of the brachial plexus is for the remember. Okay. And I also the roots of the brachial plexus is originating from the upper part of the posterior triangle of the neck, which is between the scalenus anterior and scalenus medius muscle. All right, so you can write that down. Okay, so I'm going to repeat it again. The roots of the brachial plexus originate in the upper part of the posterior triangle of the neck between the scalenus anterior and scalenus medius muscle. So how does the roots form? The roots are formed from C5 to C5 to T1 anterior rami spinal nerve. Or you can say the roots of the brachial plexus originate from the anterior rami of the C5 to T1 spinal nerve. Okay? So now what I'm doing here, I'm going to do a peak or a mountain here, a straight line, and another mountain here. All right, I just do this earlier in the video. So now for the T, okay, stands for the trunk. All right. So now, as I said, the roots of the brachial plexus originates from the C5, C6, C7, C8, and T1. Okay. So the C5 nerve roots, the C5 spinal nerve and the C6 spinal nerve are going to come together to form what we call the upper trunk. All right. They are going to come together to form the upper trunk. I'm going to give that in red. All right. So the C7 continues to form the middle trunk, and the C8 and T1 also continues to form the lower trunk. All right. So this is the upper trunk, middle trunk, and the lower trunk. All right. So from here, I will be using now a black. This line also continues like so, where I do the X. Okay, so I'm going to do the X with a black colored and a slash. So this is going to continue and a slash. All right. So I told you to remember to drink cold beer. Always remember that. So for the D, it is for the divisions. All right. So the upper trunk, each trunk are going to give rise to two divisions, anterior and posterior division. Each trunk are going to give rise to two divisions. So the upper trunk here are going to give rise to these anterior divisions and a posterior divisions. Okay. The middle trunk give rise to the anterior division and a posterior division. And the lower trunk are going to give rise to the anterior division, sorry, the posterior division and the anterior division. Okay, let's just take it like that. Anterior and posterior. Anterior and posterior. But here I'm going to flip it just. The lower trunk over here is to the anterior and the posterior and the anterior. Okay? Yeah. So remember to drink. So the remember is for the roots, the T is for the trunk, the D is for the divisions. All right. But I told you where the roots are located, and I also asked you to write that down. But the trunk, where is the trunk located? The trunks are located at the lower part of the posterior triangle of the neck. Okay? And the division are just behind the 1/3 of the clavicle, the medial 1/3 of the clavicle. That is where the divisions are located. Now, how are the cords formed? So remember to drink cold. The divisions. These divisions are going to come together to form a cord, right? So the cord is for the cords. Okay. So the anterior divisions of the anterior divisions of the upper trunk and middle trunk are going to come together to form what we call the lateral cord. All right, the lateral cord. This is the lateral cord. So all the posterior divisions of the upper trunk, posterior division of the middle trunk, posterior divisions of the lower trunk are going to come together to form the posterior cord. All right, and the only anterior division of the lower trunk are going to come together to form the medial cord. All right. So now, at this point, we are almost at the tail end. All right. Well, I'll try to finish up just quick for you to understand within a short period of time. All right. So let me use um, this yellow for the branches. All right. Just the yellow ink. Hope you'll see that. So remember to drink cold. The cold is for the cords. Where are the cords located? The cords and the branches are located within the axilla. What does the axilla mean? Just your armpits. Okay. That's the anatomical term for the axilla. All right. So how are the branches formed? Form the cords. They are formed the cords. See, branches. Just the terminal branches. The terminal branches are formed. The lateral cord are going to give rise to the musculocutaneous nerve, right? And from the posterior cord, going to give rise to the axillary nerve like this, radial nerve, ulnar nerve. Okay, and from the lateral cord, going to give a contribution. From the medial cord, going to give a contribution here. Okay, but I want you to remember this mnemonic. Okay, which is my aunt, rip, my uncle. It's just a funny mnemonic for you to remember just the terminal branches. All right. So for the nerves, I will be using yellow. All right. So my is for musculocutaneous, or you can say mamu musculocutaneous. All right. Musculocutaneous nerve. That's the terminal branches arising from the lateral cord. And we have the axillary nerve. And we have the radial nerve. And we have the medial nerve and the ulnar nerve. Okay. So my for musculocutaneous, ant for axillary, rib for radial, my for median, uncle for ulnar. So those are the terminal branches. All right. So now, by finishing off this video, we'll be talking about all the branches that are from the root, trunk. There are no branches from the divisions, from the cords, and we have also talked about the terminal branches. So too, I will take it from the branches to the root end. All right. And from here, from the lateral cord, we have what we call the lateral pectoral nerve. Lateral pectoral nerve. All right. From the posterior cord, we have another three branches, which are one here, one here, one here, which are this is the middle subscapular nerve. Okay, this is the upper subscapular nerve. The middle subscapular nerve is also called the thoracodorsal nerve, upper subscapular nerve, and the lower subscapular nerve. Right? Okay. So from the medial cord, there are another three nerves, which are here was the lateral pectoral, here is going to be the medial pectoral nerve. Okay, and medial pectoral, medial brachial cutaneous nerve, medial brachial cutaneous nerve, and here is the medial anti-brachial cutaneous nerve. Okay, so these are the divisions. These are just the branches that are from the cords after the terminal branches. So the cords, the lateral cord is going to give rise to the lateral pectoral nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, and is going to give a contribution to the medial nerve. Okay, the posterior division, the posterior cord, are going to give rise to five branches, which are the axillary nerve, the radial nerve, middle subscapular nerve, upper subscapular nerve, lower subscapular nerve. And the medial cord is going to give rise to branches, which are contributions to the medial nerve, the ulnar nerve, the medial pectoral, medial brachial cutaneous, medial antebrachial cutaneous. All right? Okay. These are just the branches from the branches, cords, branches, and terminal branches from terminal branches, small branches from the cords. And the divisions give no branches. All right? So, we come to the trunks. All right? So now, here you have the suprascapular nerve. Suprascapular nerve, and here we have nerve to subclavius, or the subclavius nerve. Nerve to the subclavius. Those are just the branches from the trunk, just the upper trunk. No branches from the middle trunk, no branches from the lower trunk. Okay, and we have the dorsal scapular nerve. Dorsal scapular nerve, and we have from C5 to C7, C5, C6, and C7 are going to give rise to long thoracic nerve. All right. So this is just a schematic diagram of what the brachial plexus actually looks like. Okay. I hope you will remember this, how to draw the brachial plexus in an easy way and a quick way for you to always remember and produce in an exam. Okay. So always the mnemonics I'm leaving you with. Always remember to drink cold beer. My auntie, my uncle. Just a funny mnemonic. Okay. And just a quick revision. The roots. The roots are in the upper part of the posterior triangle of the neck between the scalenus anterior and scalenus medius muscle. The roots are formed from the anterior rami of the C5 to T1 spinal nerve. Okay, so how the roots form branches? The C5 and the C6 spinal nerve combine to form the upper trunk. The C7 continues to form the middle trunk. The C8 and T1 combine to form the lower trunk. Okay, and there are branches which are the dorsal scapular nerve, the long thoracic nerve from the roots. Okay, the upper trunk gives rise to two nerves, which are the suprascapular nerve and the nerve to subclavius. So each trunks are going to give divisions, anterior and posterior divisions. So the upper trunk is going to give rise to the anterior division, the upper trunk is going to give rise to the posterior division. The middle trunk is going to give rise to the anterior division, posterior division, and the lower trunk is going to give rise to the posterior and the anterior. How is the lateral cord formed? The anterior division of the upper trunk and the anterior division of the middle trunk combine together to form the lateral cord. All the posterior division of the upper trunk, posterior division of the middle trunk, and the posterior divisions of the lower trunk combine to form what we call the posterior cord. All right, and the only anterior divisions from the lower trunk continues to form the medial cord. All right, so branches from the cords. From the lateral cord, we are going to have nerves that emanate from the lateral cord, which are the lateral pectoral nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, and a contributions to the medial nerve. Okay, and from the posterior cord, we have five nerves that emanate from the posterior cord: the upper subscapular nerve, the middle subscapular nerve or the thoracodorsal nerve, the lower subscapular nerve, the axillary nerve, the radial nerve. Okay, and what are the branches from here? We have from the medial cord, the medial brachial cutaneous, the medial pectoral nerve, the medial brachial cutaneous, medial antebrachial cutaneous, and a branch to the medial nerve, and also the ulnar nerve. Okay, so this is the brachial plexus. I hope you remember this. Always, all the branches, and always, I'm leaving you with this. Always practice, practice, practice. All right. In my next video, I will be talking about pathologies. What will happen if the brachial plexus is damaged? What will happen if the radial nerve is damaged? What will happen with each nerve that is damaged? How will the pathologies look like? So until then, peace. Always, I want you to subscribe, like my video, and share with your colleague. Thank you very much.